popular images of God is that of a shepherd. Even in the Old Testament, we heard the responsorial psalm today that God talks about God shepherding his people. Everybody knows Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not fear. Jesus is presented to us as the good shepherd. Many works of art, he reminds us of Jesus carrying a lamb on his shoulders. But another image of God, and for Jesus I think sometimes we don't focus on, is that of the sower. God is the sower who sows the seeds in people's hearts so we can bear fruit. And that's not just about who God is. It's not about being a theological discussion. But that's important for us, who God is and the images of God, because God calls us as his children to share in his ministry. We heard in that first reading, God saying, I will send you shepherds. We are the one who called to be shepherds of others. But also we're the one who are called to be sowers, sowing the seeds. And I think sometimes we're more comfortable with being shepherds than being sowers. Naturally, as human beings, many of you are parents, you have that natural instinct of caring for your children, caring for your others. But I think it's more challenging for us to be sowers in today's world. And I think listening to Bishop Tai and what he spoke about his ministry, that's what he's trying to do. Sow those seeds maybe in the hardened soil, in where the culture of the world is not close to the beliefs and the culture of the church. But each one of us are called to fulfill the mission to be both shepherd and sower. For us here at the ACC, I think the way we can be shepherds by the way we treat one another internally. But also our mission is really to be sowers for the whole people of God in the Archdiocese. No matter what we do, I hope you see your role here, your job here, whatever way you look at it, as you're sowing seeds. Whether when people call us here for questions, whether when you go out to do presentations, to do workshops, whether you help people in their marriage situations, no matter what we're doing, I hope we're all keeping in mind that this is an opportunity that God has given us to sow the seed. And it doesn't matter what kind of soil we have to deal with. The sower spreads the seeds even on the trodden path that's so hard, as well as on the rich soil. For us, for our job to be meaningful for us and to give us that sense of satisfaction, sense of fulfillment, that we're making a difference, is I think if we put it in that perspective. How am I being a good shepherd to my co-workers? And how I am being a sower? How am I sowing the seeds of faith, the seeds of truth, love, hope, compassion to those people that I interact with? Yes, it's a challenging mission, but I think we're called and reminded that it's still a needed mission. If we look at the history of the church was more into the sower ministry in a way, if you want to say that it sent missionaries throughout the world to proclaim the good news. And we see all the success of those efforts, despite the challenges, the difficulties, the many people, men and women who had to sacrifice their lives. We need to go back to that mission. That's what our Holy Fathers have been calling us in the last few years, to remind us, whether we call it the new evangelization or whatever new term, being missionary disciples, being intentional disciples. It's simple as being a sower who goes out trusting in God and spreading the seeds around.